Hello guys and welcome back to our channel Barcaadmirers, and in this episode we are going to discuss with you something special. As we all know, Xavi'S long awaited return now as a manager does not only bring excitement, what it also brings is change, some drastic change. So today we will be discussing the 10 winners and losers from Xavi'S appointment as Barcelona's manager. Now before we begin, I would really appreciate it if you guys could just like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel and also press on the bell icon so that you can turn on all the post notifications. Now as we all know, the remodeling in question is just far from being tactical. What is currently underway is a thorough systematic overhaul aiming to foster our rehabilitation. Tactically and mentally, the Blaugrana are bound to be influenced by the 41-year-old's arrival. Of course, the primary demand undeniably is enhancing the collective performance and optimizing the team's approach, with fresh ideas and an ideology much better formulated as compared to his recent predecessors. Xavi will undeniably be up to the task. Firm in his belief, compelling in his discourse, the Catalan's competence on all fronts is beyond any doubt. A collective-oriented approach generally insinuates a boost in some individuals' efficiency as well. Equally, the others will inevitably tumble down the manager's pecking order and may soon be flirting with an exit. So, the main question now is, who will gain and who will hit the skids under Xavi's return? Speaking about the players who were best positioned to win under Xavi, on the top of the list is Ousmane Dembélé. Quite understandably, up until this point, Dembele's troublesome name instantly springs to mind. Xavi, however, has often expressed his fondness for the 24-year-old player and has manifested a certain penchant for the players of his profile. The arrival of him could prove to be Dembele's saving grace. Throughout Xavi's coaching career at Al Sadd, the wingers often stretched out and pushed back the opposing defense. Now at Barca, the quality of options out wide is richer while still being far from ideal, which suggests that he is almost certain to opt for wide forwards. When providing breadth to the attack, Dembélé is almost unrivaled, at least at Barca. He thrives when glued to the touchline, from where his ostentation and rapid change of pace and direction never fail to place the defender on the back foot. The spectre of Dembele's monstrous acceleration helps repel the opponent's backline as well, thus generating plentiful space between the lines. For the players of his price tag, however, the performance of intricate duties on the pitch is a prerequisite. Dembélé, on the other hand, has shown an incapability to master the simplest of tasks. The question is, can Xavi nurture his delayed tactical, physical and cognitive development? Only time will tell, but the circumstances are definitely in his favor. It's do or die for Dembélé. Next up on the possible winners list is Frenkie de Jong. At long last, the odds are in favor of a breakthrough season from the Flying Dutchman. Frenkie de Jong has so far ended a turbulent stay in Catalonia, as none of his coaching tutors have managed to avail themselves of his boundless potential. The degree to which the former Ajax man has lived up to expectations has always been a catalyst for debate, but Xavi's arrival is what could, at long last, help him blossom. Bringing out the best from Frenkie de Jong would be a big challenge for Xavi. The 24-year-old is a jack of all trades, operating exceptionally in all aspects of the game. Keen to receive the ball in the earliest moment possible, his flawless body placement, coupled with dazzling awareness in ball control, mold an enviable ball progressor. Xavi should not and hopefully will not build a team around de Jong. If the right conditions are met, the team will build itself around him. He possesses a unique quality highly uncommon in the modern day. He is a player that defines Barcelona's system, and if the team inadvertently revolves around him, the Blaugrana will soon be reaping the harvest of the 75 million euros invested in him. If there is anyone who could resolve his issues, it is Xavi. Everything indicates that this is the time to shine for the number 21. A player of his caliber is capable of making quantum leaps, and it looks inevitable that Frenkie de Jong will soon fully spread his wings. The next gainer on this list is Riqui Puig. Formerly a castaway and now with a genuine shot at mounting a starting 11 challenge, Riqui Puig's curious case has often caused an uproar among the club's supporters, including me. The immensely talented 22-year-old midfielder spent the past 2 years languishing on the bench with no backing whatsoever on Ronald Koeman's part. But now, everyone will have to gain the manager's confidence from start, which could bring him on par with his midfield competitors. Puig's presence brings in energy and tempo and a constant action, speeding up the game and being a continual nuisance for the opposition through bold and incisive line-breaking passes. But for Ronald Koeman, his strengths were not convincing enough. To a certain degree, this was in fact true, yet no problem can be solved without a mutual desire to do so. The coach showed little to no interest in the youngster's development, thus condemning him to 2 seasons of absolute insignificance. Now this is precisely where Xavi's appointment could come to his rescue. The 41-year-old has claimed that the previous performances will be of little importance. This means that everyone will now have an equal crack at a starting spot. Can Puig manage to dislodge either Pedri or De Jong? It seems very unlikely, and even if it does, Nico Gonzalez and Gavi will be there to contest his spot. Now despite all this new blank sheet approach is bound to hand the La Masia graduate an opportunity to shine. Without time and excessive expectations to deter him, Puig can now finally shoot up. The next name on the list is that of Memphis Depay. The Memphis is widely regarded as a signing completed purely out of Ronald Koeman's will. While the now former Blaugrana manager was the main instigator of his signing, the acquisition of the 27-year-old made perfect sense from a strategic standpoint as well. Depay's skill set is quite unique. He possesses flair and combines that with mature discernment, sublime vision, as well as a deadly finish. He is an all-rounder who can operate in all offensive areas, between the lines, out wide, in the half space or as a focal point. This suggests that the Dutchman should, as a priority, be the mover and shaker of this team's actions. Nevertheless, so far, Memphis has had a tempestuous start to life in Catalonia. Koeman would frequently deploy him as an out-and-out striker, but that came at the expense of his main qualities. Similar to the players mentioned before in the list, Memphis now looks to start to obtain a role better tailored for his qualities. His ability to create danger out of nothing could match up to Xavi's taste, as the presence of a universal game changer is always welcome. I believe that Memphis Depay has been rightly tipped to succeed at Barca. It's just the circumstances that have so far prevented him from making an outright breakthrough. Under the correct management, it is inevitable that he will make strides in parallel with the rest of the team. Not long until the lion roars. The final name on our winners list is that of Yusuf Demir. The young Austrian has undeniably endured a dreadful dawn to his Barcelona career. Languishing at the deep end of the bench, Demir's future is already in jeopardy. But with Xavi's advent, Lady Luck may at last have sided with the youngster. Now, as we are all aware, Koeman had initially manifested genuine faith in the 18-year-old newcomer, and rightly so. Demir is a top-notch player with skills tailor-made for positional play. However, the Austrian playmaker has not been entrusted at all. In stark contrast to the preseason, the chances have been scarce, with severe repercussions following suit. Even when granted the opportunity, Demir has looked like a shadow of his former self. His case is increasingly reminiscent of Francisco Trincão's. Shattered confidence eclipses talent. Much like Puig, the arrival of Xavi is Demir's best shot at gaining a second wind. His creativity and multifunctionality are bound to accord to the manager's liking, guaranteeing numerous cameos and even starts for the youngster to prove his worth. Right now, Xavi's mid-season appointment is a chance like no other. After all, there seems that there is at least some bright light at the end of the tunnel for him. Now that's everything that we have for the gainers. Moving on to the losers list, at the top of it of course is Felipe Coutinho. Coutinho's Barcelona career has been utterly disastrous, and that is a rather euphemistic way to put it. The 135 million euros that went down the drain with his signing have caused colossal damage to the club, while the Brazilian has done little to nothing even to justify a quarter of that price tag. The general impression is that no matter who is in charge, the 29-year-old is living on borrowed time. Although the player was often compromised by managerial decisions, one can hardly recall a couple of genuinely top-class performances on his part. The former Liverpool leader was no longer a headliner in Catalonia, which took its toll on his confidence. Now with a new manager in charge, Xavi looks set to introduce even more players for first-team football. The path of many rookies are bound to interfere with Coutinho's spot in the team. That being said, if one is to trust his recent form, it shall not be challenging to knock him off his perch. The next name on the list, of course, is Luuk de Jong. Now, Luuk de Jong and Barcelona is a match made anywhere but in heaven. Signing such a single profile player even on loan was unthinkable either way. Yet, for the former manager Ronald Koeman, there was something appealing in his game, although I simply cannot get what. Hence, the signing to begin with. Unfortunately, the Dutch manager might be the sole reason to hold his role in the team to high regard. Luuk's career to date was already sufficient to predict his impact or the lack thereof on Barcelona's game. Needless to say, 9 games at the club have indeed validated previous concerns. The Dutchman was mostly used as a last resort when the team was on the back foot. Even when it came to goal-scoring duties, Luuk had faltered under pressure. Absolutely unsurprisingly, everything points for the departure of the 31-year-old. His spell in Blaugrana colours was meant to be brief either way, yet the possibility of immediate departure cannot be excluded. The countdown has begun and Luuk de Jong's days at the club are definitely numbered. The third name on the list, of course, is that of Gerard Piqué. The exact same conversation is being held every year. When exactly will Gerard Piqué retire? Gerard Piqué undeniably is a legend and one of the best defenders in recent history, and that feat is not to be disputed. Yet, the attributes that set him apart from the rest are no longer the difference makers. It is a part of a natural decline that cannot be averted. I've already said this before and I will say it again, he is absolutely useless right now at the club. He does more harm than he does good. He has lost his focus ever since 2018 and he needs to go. The younger and more proactive Eric Garcia has already put Piqué's spot on a hair trigger this term and is not the only one knocking on his door. Barcelona possess a vast array of young, promising centre-backs that could be ready for the opportunity. With regards to Xavi, I believe that there is no doubt that if needed, he will be ready to remove Piqué from the starting lineup. He perfectly comprehends the importance of laying the foundations for a better future. Making way for the next generation is a part of the process, whether the one affected likes it or not. Next up on the list is Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Once an untouchable and an invaluable asset for the Catalans, ter Stegen has endured an excruciating downfall during the past few years. So much so that his unscathed starting spot in the team could be under threat with Xavi's arrival. Meritocracy is an asset that has been long lost at Barcelona. This is something that has hampered the team's progression, placing unnecessary self-restrictions. To a certain degree, ter Stegen has also relished an untroubled tenure, but now that he no longer delivers, could that change? Let's see. 2 consecutive serious knee operations are most likely the main culprits behind his downfall, but ter Stegen has already had sufficient time to return to his best. Right now, it simply looks like a complete comeback is out of the 29-year-old's reach. Iñaki Peña and Arnau Tenias, 2 of the most talented goalkeepers that La Masia has produced over the last decades, are yet to debut with the senior side, and without a reconsideration of ter Stegen's role, this will not happen soon. Xavi's evaluation will be based on pure merit, which means that competition will be in abundance. It's now or never for the German. Undeniably, all of this is just a theoretical assessment. The coach is the one who is finally entitled to evaluate his players' progress and worthiness of an opportunity. Those men who are on the verge of departure could resurge, while others will inevitably lose in value. An exciting inner revolution of roles is taking place and we are all set to witness it.